Yeah.
Lucid Kidd, man, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Look, I appreciate you, man.
You can hear me good, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And one of the things I got to say, let's just start this thing off. You're all the way from Vilnius, Lithuania. Did I say that right?
Yes. Vilnius, Lithuania. Yes, you did.
Okay, look,
Rarely people right, huh?
yes, I practiced that all morning. Just to be honest with you, I practiced that because I like showing love to my people. Hey, you making time for me. I'm making time for you, and I want to get you. I want to get your place right. I want to get your home right. But
That's happy. I'm happy. Yeah, that's good to hear.
and I love this interview. And quite honestly, it's not even an interview. We're just gonna chop it up for a while because I want you to feel
Great.
comfortable. But the
Yeah.
the problem, the good problem, I should say, with this interview, you told me everything I need to know in your lyrics. My man, you give so much. Like,
Yeah.
we'll jump into that because I want to learn a little bit about you and your Lithuanian background, your roots. Tell me a little bit about home, man.
I mean, how brief you want me to be? I can go
Hey,
back.
hey, we got time, man. Just tell me a little bit.
I mean, everything started, from I was like, I mean, the music stuff started from young age. My dad always used to listen to like hip hop and everything, like Eminem, Tupac, the old school good players. And yeah, I started going to guitar lessons, but then I kind of quit. I don't know, it wasn't so much for me. Then my grandma always had a big piano in her house, and I used to play for hours and hours. And I just really loved. I didn't know how to play. I was playing whatever, but I just loved it doesn't really have no boundaries. There's no rules. You can just play whatever you want. There's no constraints to that. And yeah, and then later, I started creating music. Um I started from producing, didn't really work out, so I went to just like singing over beats from YouTube, as usual. And yeah, I started making music, and because Lithuania is so small, there wasn't really a lot of rap game there, there wasn't a lot of rap market, so there was a couple pretty big players there. And yeah, and then I started creating music. I released a music video. It kind of blew up because I was like what, 13 years old, having a music video in like, my song was English, but like, the most audience was Lithuanian. And yeah, then it kind of blew up around. A lot of like the big players, influencers noticed me. And we just started from there, doing shows in the underground little like dirty bars with 200 kids singing your lyrics, all these. And then yeah, and then later I just decided that's kind of not that's not all for me that I want from this. I want to go bigger, and I feel like I feel like I can do it, so then I started moving a little bit more to US, but I still have the Lithuanian roots, and I always gonna incorporate even them in my music even further. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Lucid Kid, I gotta tell you, when I think of Lithuania, the first thing that comes to my mind is hip hop. Hip hop, hip hop. That's the first thing I think about when I think about Lithuania.
That's
Um,
interesting. It's
I'm
different.
joking, obviously, but it's just um one of the things that made me like kind of like dig a little bit deeper into your history, although brief,
Mhm.
it's like it's traveled so far where I guess we see it in pop culture, whether it be sports and you talk about basketball, and there's a lot of Lithuanian athletes. It's a lot of, and quite honestly, it's where hip hop has now is no longer underground. It's actually pop culture.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
when I see an artist like you, I see where it was, I guess it hugged you at an early age because you said like around age 13, you really start getting
Yeah.
into it. And one of the things I read, and tell me if I'm full of shit, if I'm wrong, let me know. But you actually started off on the production side of hip hop where
Yeah.
you went to sit down and just make beats. How did that journey
Yeah.
progress to you being an artist?
Well, it wasn't really for long till I switched more being to an artist and a producer, you know. I don't know, I thought I kind of want to produce my own beats. I just saw a lot of like listen to hip hop. I heard a lot of sound, you know. I have pretty good hearing, and it just hearing all these sounds makes you want to interested how they do it, you know, and all. So I just started like FL Studio, you know. I pulled up, just did some trash ass beats, a couple, and you know, it just progressed a little bit. But then I was like, I mean, it didn't really got me into it, you know. And then I started, you know, the music side. I thought, why do I like produce if there's plenty of beats on YouTube, you know? And I just took like a couple of beats from YouTube and started that, and that got me more into it because I don't know, it's just more of me because I hear my voice, I can play with my voice and everything, and it's more me, and all the beats can sound more similar. They're more music, and when you have your voice on a beat, it's more you know, yours. Like, yeah.
And that's cool because one of the things, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, my man, we've been only talking for a few minutes. You seem like a great guy. You seem chill. You seem like you're having a good time. Now, with that said, you have said, and I'm quoting at this point, when you are making your music, you're developing an edgy, melodic, urban pop sound, which can be described as, quote, the cold, dark, depressing energy of Eastern Europe. I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing a good
Yeah.
dude who just chopping it up with me. Where does all of this come from? Because I'm like, when I listen to your songs, there is such an educated, deep emotional response to what's happening around
Yeah.
you. And it speaks to your credit because, I mean, look, a long, long time ago, gray hairs and all, allegedly used to be a teenager. And
Really?
during yeah, I know, it was a while ago. Don't even worry about it. Don't even look it up.
Yeah.
But during my time, I was all about surface stuff. And when I listen to your lyrics, it's always something surface, and then it's something very deeper. And it makes you think too. So I'm very curious, where does this come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I can answer this question. I mean, you know, Lithuania, at least when I was little, I mean, you know, when you're a child, the world is beautiful for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It's usually very like everything's interesting. You learn new things every day, and you know, but Lithuania is a bit. I mean, it's all good. Summer is like life and death. Summer and a little bit of you know, September and the end of spring is like all this half of year. There's it's very beautiful, and this half of year is dark, snow. The it starts getting dark. Yeah, the sun goes up at like 12 and goes down at like 4. You know, it's just like a couple hours of light. It's not that bad, but it's pretty depressing. I mean, at least before, and the culture, you know, a lot of like like Soviet Union impact from, you know, we were, you know, occupied by Russia, and it's a lot of impact. A lot of people, you know, still dress up like very gray. No one's really showing themselves. Everyone's pretty close. So that culture really, that's where I kind of grew up with. But because I was I from a little age, I was really traveling a lot with my parents. I feel like I really got this open mindedness from traveling to different. I went to Africa. I went to, I don't know. I went to US. I went to around the Europe, and it really opened my eyes that the world isn't only here, you know. And it's really it's really a bigger place, and there's so many differences from my, you know, hometown with the whole world, which gave me a lot of almost inspiration and just open mindedness. You know, I feel like the world is so big, and I got, yeah, that inspiration. I feel like I incorporate that in my music. It's not, I can incorporate some dark, you know, but because I got this, like open mindedness from all this traveling, I don't feel like I have so much, I don't know, too much darkness from the Lithuania. I mean, you get used to it, you know. You like you live it like, I don't know, live in a dark place, but you get used to it. You that's where creativity sometimes comes, you know. You don't have anything to
Right.
do, and you just really, maybe it might be a sad song that you write, but it's something, you know, it's a bit different than It's Always Sunny. You know, we have some versatility in I don't know, seasonality, which evokes creativity, you know. So yeah.
And that's one of well, I don't want to paint you in that light because if that seems unfair, because it's not all doom and gloom. Because one of the things I do love about your songs, where yeah, you do hit some deep stuff, but there's also things of growth. There's also things of what you want, like a nature surrounding your concepts of love, affection, even chivalry, which again, as a teenager, all of those things, those concepts were just kind of on the back burner, if you're me. But you're seeing these things and you're seeing it, and you get a chance to put it in a prism of what it could be versus what it is based on where you are. Like one of the songs I really like personally, and maybe this is You Caught Me at a Time. I like Nothing Back. And the reason I like Nothing Back is because, for lack of a better term, you talk about energy vampires. Now, to those who don't know, those are energy vampires. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Those are the people you hang around where, oh, you give so much of yourself, but you get very little in return. And unfortunately, those are popping up a little bit more than most. And when you hear a song like that, I look at you, I'm like, oh, this kid gets it. He gets it this early in life. So, and like you actually break down necessarily how to deal with it and your experiences with it. So I don't know how to answer that question, but who was the energy vampire and why did you kick them out of your life? Go. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You ain't got to do it. You ain't got to put them on blast like that.
I really appreciate that you really got like understand the music and can relate with it. I'm very appreciative of you because it's not too many people. A lot of people just like hear it and don't get too deep into that song. You know, they like the melody, some good lyrics. You know, some good I don't know, verses and all. But I really like that you really got into it and analyzed the song always, almost in a way. You know, so yeah, I mean, we don't even know how many these vampires around us, you know. It can be even your close friend which you don't even know, and it's happened to me too, you know. It's it's something, it really hurts you, but you don't even realize it, you know. They just suck energy from you and take everything from you without you even noticing, you know. And it's just draining you, and it's draining everything. It's draining your knowledge, your inspiration, your creativity, all these things, and
Yeah.
it doesn't allow you to, like, you know, evolve as a person so quickly. They just bring you down while you want to go up. That's why, you know. Yeah,
In a
that's why
weird way, it turns you into a different person. It's like
yeah,
it makes you not you, not
yeah,
genuine, because you're trying to appease that person. And at the end of the day, and I know you kind of said this in the song, you just kind of feel empty. You just kind of feel like, why did I just do that? And like you kind of question yourself a little bit.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
okay, and to answer your question, whenever I do an interview with anyone, I dedicate my entire energy to that person. So in this case, it was just all Lucid Kidd while I'm sitting down, I'm thinking. But that's why I said it was so very hard to come up with questions, because you kind of told me. You kind of told me. This is more of a fact checking mission, if anything. Um, because
yeah.
like,
But I really appreciate you, like, these interviews when you really, you know, get to know that person through his music and everything. Is just very nice to see, you know. That's the interviews people like to watch, you know, or just discussions, you know.
and like another song I really got into is Today and Tomorrow, where you examine love, but it's coming from a toxic place. It's coming from a bad place. You shouldn't be around it because
Yeah,
that's not your view of it. Well, excuse me,
yeah,
that's not what your view of what it should be
yeah,
versus what you're actually experiencing. And then I'm very curious about that because you have a lot of feelings in the song. Please, you're the artist. Break it down for me. Tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, yeah, that love doesn't come from a pure, magical place like a fairy tale. Oh, we're in love, everything is nice. It's just more of a feeling of what can it be actually, what can it evolve to, this love thing. Because throughout, like, it didn't really evolve so much, and it's just, I'm singing about what to what level can this love go on, what's the my perfect vision of love, without even, like, without even, not normally getting this, this super affection, without like toxic people, toxicity. How do you
Yeah, toxicity. Yeah.
So it's almost like a feeling, trying to it's really hard to explain. It's just when you sing and you create a song, it's almost like, it gets out of you. It's feelings. But it's just something about the perfect vision of love, where it's yeah, the perfect vision of love, but it doesn't really come to me like I hope this comes. And it's
Right.
but love cannot always be like, always has its problems and stuff. But it's normal, yeah.
Now,
So
one of the things I would like to kind of like get into a little bit more is the positive stuff. Can we do that? Because I know we took
yeah,
a little time when we talked a little bit about things getting dark, but look, lose it. Life is moving at you fast. And
yeah,
it's a lot of positive things happening right now. Look, you're doing shows. You are collaborating with Corey Chorus. He didn't work with Rihanna, Kiki Palmer, Estelle, you Kyle Franklin, um, with Carla Ray, Tyler, Gabriel, just to name a few. Cash Dow, got to represent Detroit. So like you're here. You're around you're
yeah.
you're still a teenager. You're still obviously dealing with some a lot of emotions. Can we say that? Is that fair?
Of course. Yeah.
How are you adjusting to life essentially just coming at you as fast as it can?
You know, I think the best thing, it's very hard for people, I mean, my age to do, but everything is very good when you don't really think too much. You don't overthink them. And it's very important to develop that you just have to accept everything that happens. So everything that comes your way, even if it's bad or good, if it's bad, just take it as a lesson, or if it's good, just embrace it, and I don't know, do something with it. It's just, you have to really just go step by step, and you don't think too much, but rather accept what's happening. Embrace, and yeah, and these emotions and everything at the same time, with this music stuff. I mean, everything is connected. So it when you connect everything, your emotions, what's happening in your life with your hobby like music, and you're like almost like, now my career is music, and it's you connect that, everything really becomes easier. It's acceptance. Yeah, I would say it's, yeah.
Okay, I dig that. And one of the major changes, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's happening right now is and it feels weird to say this because you've already have a good body of work, but your introduction to an American audience. I
Yeah,
mean, you, I mean, okay, English isn't your first language.
yeah,
You're crushing it, by the way, if you were wondering. But this
appreciate.
is one of those things where you have to tell this story of who
Mhm.
you are, why you've done this, who you've talked to, and you express this to essentially a body of people who are just learning who you are for the first time. How does that make you feel? Or is it just, again, acceptance?
Like, how does it make me feel when it's like my introduction to a new audience? Like, you
Yeah, it's
just
almost
want
like you got to do it. all, you got to start from square one all over again. You got to start from step one all over again,
Yeah, it's to be completely honest with you, it is some pressure though.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you really, there is some barriers. I don't know, even if it's there's some like music industry barriers and some social barriers which you sometimes cannot fully show who you are, and then you have this pressure on you when you don't, sometimes you, maybe you said something not that you wanted or something, and then there's pressure that people will not understand you the way you actually are. And I mean, if you, I don't know, if people don't like me, don't dig me, all right, just don't look at me. Like I don't care that much. But to the people who care about my music, I have this pressure to actually show them what I want to do and show them what is my goal. Because I'm really right now in this phase where I'm kind of lost but kind of focused. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm really now in this phase of my life where I'm really trying to focus. What am I trying to actually do with this, and with this music stuff? What is my essential goal? And yeah, it's very important for me to let these people understand the real me, and yeah, what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
What's interesting about that? Um, and I get it. Trust me, I totally understand, because
Yeah.
that's a pressure you're going to deal with, regardless what medium you're on. But it's it's I believe I think you're going to have an easier route than most for this reason.
Okay.
You tell who you are in your music. The product is right there. It's You're dealing with a person who is not afraid to be vulnerable, which
Hmm.
is, and I want to say this with the utmost respect, anti hip hop. It just
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
just is. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm the old man in the room. You can call it
No,
whatever
I
you
think you're
want. But hip hop was all about bravado, what I got, what you don't,
right.
period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you express yourself on a level that says, this is who I am, this is what I dealt with, and your story is very autobiographical, where it gets to the point where I know exactly who you are. And the reason I know exactly who you are, because many moons ago, I used to be a version of you, or I can identify, or I get it. And quite honestly, it's no quick fix. For me to sit here and act like, oh, I know exactly who I am right now at my age, that's just plain a lie. But if I had the foresight to do that in my teens to examine who I am, maybe I'll be further along. Who knows? But you have already took that route, whether it be in music form, maybe
Yeah.
social, and the fact that you just take it as it is makes it very enlightening, because we can always get weighed down by the minutia of things, but it seems
Mhm.
like, for good or bad, somewhere in the middle, you're just along for the ride. And if I, like I said, if I'm wrong at any point, you can tell me.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think, I believe I'm thinking a lot and just like developing a lot in this age and just asking a lot of questions, which maybe I shouldn't be asking, but I think I should. I think like really my goal is to just evolve and develop as much as I can with my my mental state and my just knowledge and everything, and further on, to do that, to help other people do that, and just gain some kind of knowledge, gain some kind of like mental, like psychological support, and it's yeah, I think you're pretty right, but I try to express a lot.
Hey, I trust me. It's called emo for a reason. Yeah, you got to express. I get that. But one of the things in your latest project, I guess we can kind of jump into that, because I
Mhm.
think you got a good handle on it, because the name of the project itself, Smooth Sailing.
Yeah.
And there is a point of where you're just asking for this. And I guess maybe I'm too deep into the lyrics guy right now. You're
Mhm.
asking for that. You're asking for smooth sailing, direction, which is all good right now. But one of the things I want to know is, did you get it? Or are you there? Or is it a work in progress? There's no wrong answer. That is your life.
Yeah. I mean, that song is kind of like it's a bit love song, but I wouldn't call it. And that because I don't really like to, direct my music into that side about like only one person or something. I'm trying to talk about wider, everything. Yeah.
That was my next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I swear to
So
God. I swear. Look, right here. Because the song
yeah.
Smooth Sailing is more about, it is a love song, but it is about life. So I didn't because the next question was, is this about someone or is this about just love as a whole?
Yeah. Like remember when I told you at
It's
the like
right
you see I can yeah. So remember when I told you about this everything like almost like acceptance and going with the flow. So this song kind of incorporates the same of me, like it's life is never going like it's you're not never gonna slide so smooth like on the seven seas. It's like the seven seas aren't so we have storms, we have waves, we have everything, we have I don't know, sharks, and it's never so smooth, but it's about how you imagine it. You have to the you have to understand that it's never that smooth. However, you can how to phrase, you can imagine that everything is smooth, you can almost manifest that everything is going smooth, and then you just accept when it's not, but then you focus when you are, and I mean it's a bit deep, sorry. But yeah, uh yeah.
Name a song of yours that isn't deep. Come on, man. Let's really get into
You should check out my first songs. Nah, don't do that. You,
but
you know, I evolved in this. Before it never was that good. We all start
but
somewhere.
Lucid, if I've learned anything about your music while getting ready for this interview, man, you are all about growth. You are all about self-examination. And sometimes, if we could sit down and work on ourselves as much as you've done in the last, and I'm just being generous, let's say 2 years. I mean, and this is coming from a guy who stalked your Instagram for work. I punched in and had a cup of coffee to stalk your Instagram. So come on, now.
Yeah.
And you can see the growth. Man, you are a young man who have lived a life already, and now you're given to that demographic, whether it be American, whether it be whoever. I really don't care. Whoever listens to your music, you're
Doesn't matter.
offering you're offering something different, and that something different isn't something bad. It's something that isn't one of the same. And I'm not going to be one of those people who put you in a box and call you emo rap or alternative rap or whatever. It's just honestly, you chose the vehicle of hip hop as expression to whatever you're dealing with at that time. And I can deal with
Thank
that.
you. Yeah, I mean, I really want to talk about I'm not, as an artist, I never want to be put in some kind of musical barriers as genres. Right now I have this music, right? I have this project. We can call it emo rap, melodic, whatever you want to call it. I'm developing that, but I never want to be put that I'm the emo rap artist. I'm a from a young age I did some hard songs, whatever, but it just I'm really trying to be versatile in order to reach a bigger audience. It's not, I don't want to be just this. I want to be something, I want to go different paths. I want to explore this music to the fullest. I don't want to go one direction and just, so yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's the thing I wanted to say, because I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of people mistake me for just I'm that artist. I mean, yeah, I present myself right now as an artist, at least to the new audience. But I mean, I believe people like my Lithuanian younger fans know that I'm pretty versatile. Yeah.
Well, I am not a Lithuanian younger fan,
Yeah.
but as a guy who did pretty decent research in Lucid Kidd for the last week here, I want to make sure that it's not just that. It's just the lane you're in right now. And like I said, your music is all about growth. If you go into something else, awesome. If you stay in this world and make it a bigger world we can all identify with, awesome. But you're telling a story about your life. And who am I to put that in the box? I've never done what you've done on some aspects. So I can't just say, oh, okay, well, he's this. And that's unfortunate because when you start putting people in boxes, I don't want to group you. Look, you have some experiences, and yeah, I did watch the influences from XXXTentacion, Juice World, and people you grew up on, and I get it, mainly because, for lack of a better term, I am putting you in a box for this one. I have to
Yeah, it's all right.
because of
I
your
mean,
age.
all life is all about boxes. I mean, if you look at the world, you at the end of the day, you're still gonna be put in a box. You know, it's never really free. So
Yeah,
that's
one way or another. But what I'm getting at is, even though those are your experiences, or excuse me, influences, that's the word I want to use, you're projecting your own experiences to what's happening now. And
yeah,
unfortunately, with cats like that, they're no longer with us.
yeah,
And they don't really have any more new experiences. You do. And since
yeah,
you do, you're just projecting that to anyone with working ears that want to hear you, or in this case, YouTube want to see you. So, salute to you, young man. I will say this: we're getting around the end of this podcast. Like I said, we were just gonna chop it up today. This was just been awesome. In the audio version of this podcast, this is cool. We play a couple cuts, the new smooth sailing, anything like that. Do you have a
yeah.
preference?
For songs,
Yeah, because I figure if we play some of the songs that we talked about, maybe my audience get it. They hear you a little bit more because I mean we didn't talk you up. Why not?
I mean, when we're talking about vampires, you can play nothing back. I mean,
Okay.
I really like GNT also. The song, it's pretty special for me. It's a
Okay.
very
Uh,
mix of emotion, not
GNT, I'll
direct
make sure I put that in the mix.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, I mean,
also,
I hope I could say you could play my new project. You know,
can
it has some
what
cool.
can we? It's up to you. If you say no, we're good.
I mean, it's not out yet, so I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I don't want to get you in trouble. I get it. But yeah, today and tomorrow, GNT, and one I like nothing back. I feel such a strong. I don't know. They call it to me a little bit, mainly because I personally dealt with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll
And
make sure I get those in the mix. Also, the new project is Smooth Sailing. We get into it. This camera, this camera, this camera. Just all Lucid Kidd everything. It's Lucid Kidd official on IG, Facebook, and TikTok, and Lucid Kidd Music on Twitter. I'm actually doing your job. If you got anything else, look in the camera, look away. It's all you.
yeah. You can go also Lucid Kid official to SoundCloud. It has some of my older music. Spotify Lucid Kid Double D. You know, yeah. Don't have anything to say else. I mean, yeah. I mean, from promotion wise.
Well, here's what I'll do. On a promotion level, this podcast is going to go up in a few hours. I'll make sure I tag you in all the social media posts, mainly because
Great.
I want everyone to see what I saw when I mean, just doing research for an interview. This is one of those times I had fun doing it. This is one of those times where I was like, I get it. I'm learning, but I'm also having fun because this person is different from me. And this person has something different to say. It's not the same. And since it's not the same, it was more of a it's more kind of like what you said, the acceptance. I'm appreciating the journey and not the destination.
Yeah.
So,
I'm very happy to understand it. Very happy you had fun.
and I
It's
can't wait
great.
to hear more music, more, and I just can't wait, man. I wish you nothing but success growing up. I mean, because essentially you're telling me your life through your art, and it's just plain awesome.
Yeah. Down. Yeah. I could talk like this for hours, you know. I love talking.
Thank you.
Especially when you got a good person with you. Yeah.
Man, you come to the right place. I hope I wasn't too boring. I hope I
Nah.
didn't like I try to separate myself from everyone else and asking the same questions over and over again. I mean,
Yeah.
my questions come from the person itself. You want it? It's almost like I know it sounds weird, but it's almost like a book report. Like
Yeah.
when you did it at school, where you're just kind of like, oh, let me learn about this person. All right, my question shouldn't be about what's happening. It should be about the influence of said person.
Hmm.
Just
I mean,
saying.
you be in school and writing a book report, you would get an A plus, you know.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you so much. But one more time, Lucid Kidd, thank you so much for joining the podcast. This has been awesome. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a stranger. You want to come back, you come back anytime you want.
Great. I'm very happy to be here. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Lucid Kidd, man. We'll holler at you in a few. Peace out, man.
All right.
All right. Bye.